Hey everyone, my name is Dan Shimolinski. People like to call me Chimy, and you can too. I am a bassist, sound designer, and composer living in Los Angeles, and we are back checking out another brilliant library for Soundpaint. This is from the Hybrid Cinema series, and it is called Atmospheres and Moods. Now, we have talked a lot about the Hybrid Cinema series, specifically what overlap there is between libraries, what the purpose of the series is, and how to approach it as a sound painter, a composer, a sound designer. It really focuses on just locking in on a very specialized subset of sound design and imagery to just bring life to your scores in ways that maybe traditional instruments wouldn't. There are so many ways to paint a musical picture, and the Hybrid Cinema series really makes it easy. Out of the box, you start just kind of playing with the parts and just not even getting into the programming section, and already you're just like, oh yeah, I can see exactly where this type of sound would fit. The Hybrid Cinema series, to me, is the epitome of making music faster. You just already have a vibe, you already have a feeling, you already have an idea of what it's going to sound like just from the library name, the part names, atmospheres, and moods. You kind of know where we're going to be headed today. From the serene to the spacey, from the epic to the understated, this library really has it all. We'll be dealing with mostly synthesized sounds today. If I understand correctly, a lot of Moogs were used in the creation of this library. And I highly recommend that you put on a good pair of headphones or listen through a good pair of speakers. Make yourself a lovely glass of tea and just enjoy the experience of being engulfed in atmospheres and moods. Now, you get 12 parts with atmospheres and moods, and as you can already see from the names, we are going to cover quite a wide spectrum here. Just reading it down, I mean, we have stuff like celestial landscapes and nebula dust, which kind of puts me in outer space and maybe more upper harmonic information, stars, cosmic dust, atmospheric stuff. And then we have stuff like Distortion FX, which is probably going to be a little bit rougher and gruffer, a little more brute force. And then we have Drone, which is going to maybe perhaps be a little bit more on the serene side. But enough of me speculating on what this is going to sound like. Let's load up some parts here and find out for ourselves. Because there's only 12, I think it's totally fair to go through all of them and just kind of randomly pick some keys and see what we get. So this first one is called Atmospheric Strings. Well, I was gonna just play a bunch of random keys, but that turned into like a full-on underscore. That's beautiful. Wow. So, okay, a little bit more objectively, let's just give you kind of a key rundown here and just see what we're dealing with. Certainly sounds like atmospheric strings to me. So you might notice that there's a huge variety from key to key, as is the case with most Hybrid Cinema series libraries, but it's particularly true with this one. I mean, you've got such hard-hitting stuff like that kind of sound, but then you've got a softer, slower entry kind of like literally one whole step apart, and it's just completely different vibes. But you can hear that everything is within a single key center, so you could totally, literally just like use one part to create an entire underscore, and it totally works. Let's pop over to celestial landscapes. I'm ready for some stars. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The amount of work that you would have to put into making one single sound on any of these keys. Yes, you could do it, but it would take you a lot of layers, a lot of processing, and a lot of time. And to just have your pick of the litter, if you will, right off the bat with each one of these parts. Vibe. Vibe. Super vibe. So, you know, it's just really, really fun to kind of rifle through these. And I'm randomly picking. I don't have any knowledge of like, oh, this key works well with this key. No, I'm really just randomly choosing, and it's totally working. So, you know, as an inspiration tool, as you're composing scores, this is a great, great thing to have in your bag of tricks. If you're like, well, maybe, you know, I don't really know what direction this is going to go, just start plucking keys. The instrument is malleable enough that you can work with the imperfections. You can work with things that maybe don't quite fit your score or quite fit your mood and atmosphere, but it's a great starting place. Then we've got two dark mood parts, and typically dark to me means a little filtered down, a lot of focus on the lower side of things in terms of frequency register. But we'll see what it means to Soundpaint right now. Yeah. We're just cooking a big old soup of amazing sound design stuff here. Just hold down the sustain pedal and just start plucking. Sure. Yep. It's amazing. Let's see how part 2 differs. Wow. So maybe a little bit more focus on the upper harmonic. It's a little bit of a brighter, still I would classify these as dark, but you are getting more treble frequencies, more mid-range stuff for sure in this part. And finally, dark wide. Maybe we'll get some stereo image stuff happening here. It's like, when do you pull your foot off, right? How much does it have to grow? That is incredible. Definitely some more left-right action happening. I think there's a little more attention put into frequency separation. You know, part 1, definitely all sub information. Part 2, sure, you want some highs. This is like, let's really tailor these EQs to get you just a full picture, full stereo image of the dark vibe. Let's check out Darkest Woods. I'm nervous. It's gonna be scary, spooky. Yeah. You know, it's doing a disservice to not have like some nice fluffy envelopes on here to make sure it's not such a harsh cutoff every time. Even more. I mean, it's awesome. You already know. You already kind of have a vibe of what it's going to sound like before you click the part, which I think is just a rip-roaring success for anybody who likes to just kind of make the transition between what's in your soul, what's in your mind, into what actually comes out of your speakers. Speed is unmatched. All right, here we go. Let's do some distortion. Distortion effects. So let's see what that means. Yes, absolutely. Here comes drone effects. I like that one. Just like all the right. Normally we spend our lives fighting that low mid frequency in our mixes, but that is all low mids and it rocks. Awesome. Here comes Lovecrafty moods. I have no idea what this one's gonna sound like, contrary to what I just said. Ah, cute. Wow, I love what's happening there with the stereo image. It's like you're underwater. Too cool. So, just because this is droney and atmospheric, you can groove out a little bit. So you got some pitch action up there, and of course all this stuff can be one note stretched, one note samed, and combined in various configurations, but that is really, really cool. Here comes Nebula Dust. So I've talked before about the cross-sectionality of all of these Hybrid Cinema Series parts, and this to me is like, okay, so you've got like ear candy and strums, you've got risers, you know, it's like, it's just so many elements. You've got some really, really sub-focused stuff. It's just a totally comprehensive library, totally score in the box. I mean, just a joy to play through these. I mean, I'm like a kid in a candy shop. I'm just exploring everything that exists on these keys. And every time I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. And as a composer, as you're going and you're really getting into your score, you can choose a single depression of a key as a starting point for whatever comes next. So, you know, as I said, it's a tool, but it's also a source of inspiration. I was listening to Trolls play on this one earlier, and I totally fell in love with it. This one's called Tonal Swellings. Are you kidding? We're not even in the program section. This is just playing the parts, and it's epic. All right, let's finish with this last one here. Visions Effects. Woo! Oh yeah. So far, to me, this is the one with the most key-to-key contrast. Having a hard time settling in on it. So you get hits, slams, tonal stuff. I mean, it's kind of all in there, right? But anyway, let's head over to the program section where we have a decent amount of stuff here, all made by, looks like mostly Trolls. I contributed a couple here, but the bulk was done by Trolls here, and they're all awesome. So let's just start at the top and check out Arrival. Sounds like a big, like, space shuttle landing in the water, and then the shuttle is, like, slowly emerging onto land, and then you see it's a bunch of aliens. I don't know, but I liked it. Something is still going. Is that the shimmer? Woo! Time to 100%. I don't think I've ever done that. That takes some guts. I just like to, whenever I see like a combination of mixed bag and also one note stretch, I just like to see what the one note stretch is. Definitely, and you know, that's kind of the focal point of the sound. That stuff's just like window dressing. Very cool. This one's called Connecting the Dead, and it is a one note stretch from the Visions part, and we have some filter action here, some shimmer reverb, and plate, and EQ. Let's go. It's so funny, I clicked over to the filter because I was like, wow, that resonance is just really rattling and bringing out all those, you know, upper harmonic things. Resonance is at 0. That's in the part, and it's awesome. Here's one I did called Dark Unearthed. You know, I had to make a bass sound. Come on. So 2 one-note stretch parts and one note same, utilizing the analog distortion here. Not a whole lot more to it than that. Sounds awesome. This one's called Devious Machine. Scene setters, sound painters, it's just imagery across the board, and it's so effective. This one's using one note stretch, and it's called Humans Kill Humans. Good stuff. Good stuff. Ooh, here's a fun one with 3 parts. This one's called I See the Reality. you can already pick up on what the one note stretch is. It's whatever that meow sound is, right? So fascinated by this choice here to do shimmer reverb. So okay, yeah, getting the pitch mix, not too big of a size, but quite a fair bit of time. And then into the plate. The plate must be giving it some kind of like reflective metallicness to it that trolls really liked. Here's one called It's a Wonder, and I have 3 parts, and they are all one note stretch. So get ready for some tonal stuff. It just makes me laugh. It's like, wow, I'm not doing anything crazy. I mean, even this part, this program is not that crazy. Not crazy modulation, just kind of picking and choosing sounds that I feel like are, complementary of each other, and you just sit here and you play single keys and you're transported. It's magic to me. Here's another one I did, very similar, called One Key Scene Setter. Definitely similar vibe as to the last one, but one more part, maybe a little more treatment, and see what it sounds like. Yeah. So I picked tonal parts as one note sames for part 1, 2, and 3, and then I had Nebula dust on part 4. And a little trick that I like to use is just assigning the mod wheel to kind of the, it's really nice to have a randomization aspect to a sound, right? If it was just the one note stretches, you'd be like, oh, okay, cool. But having that little sparkle from, the Nebula dust part is going to give some upper harmonic stuff that I think is really cool. But if I'm playing or if I'm actively scoring and I don't feel like what I'm playing is doing the scene justice or whatever, I can just pull that mod wheel back down. So I can really kind of, I almost treat this as like a wild card, roll of the dice, just to see what you get, to see if it complements this warm underbelly that's created from the one note sames. Here's another one I did called String Hit, and it's exactly that. A little bit of a different take. I definitely am one to say, don't use these libraries just as they're intended. See if you can get a dope kind of string hit out of it. I mean, that kind of reminds me of like late 90s, early 2000s, like kind of New World vibes, Very, very cool. And some clever stuff happening here on the mod wheel. I wanted to bring up this second part, but when I did, it was just kind of overloading the whole sound, and I just wanted a little bit of a timbral shift. I didn't necessarily want like a strong crescendo, so I just did the inverse motion to the volume of part 1. And allows me to get a timbral shift without necessarily bringing the overall volume up. Here's one called The Bright Light. I could do that for days. That is just so fun to just have like this little line that you're just kind of, you know, weaving through this kind of stellar, you know, constellation vibe. It's tons of fun. This one's called We Are One. Woo! Stunning. Just stunning. So you're getting that tonality from the one note stretch on part 1, and then again you've got kind of the random, you know, wild card factor of part 2. Beautiful. So just a quick look at a few of the parts that you get with atmospheres and moods, and it's been a while since we've made something from scratch, and this is more just to kind of like prove my point that really it is that fast. You can get to some absolutely epic stuff and quickly. And I haven't pre-planned anything, and I'm gonna go ahead and set a timer here, and I don't know where we're going with this, but I'm gonna tell you exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pick 4 different parts from this library. I'm gonna find keys that I think work well together, and I'm gonna try and make something epic in however short of a period of time I can. So, go. Okay, for me, Nebula Dust has been the most interesting from an upper harmonic kind of stuff. I love these like water, deep sea. Love it. Let's do it. One note, stretch it. Whoopsie. I remember there being some kind of cuter stuff in Lovecrafty moods. Let's go ahead and see if we can find something to complement that. I like that. One note stretch. Whoops. Good reminder, you gotta have that menu open when you select your one note. I've made that mistake a few times. I'll leave it where it is. It's already pretty sick to me. Let's tailor some envelopes here. Maybe I want that first part to just come in a little bit later, and we're going to do a pretty generous amount of release on this kind of stuff here. A little bit of build-up on the lower harmonic kind of frequency area there. Let's find it. There it is. Let's pull that down just a touch, but I don't want to lose too much bass, so we'll give a little boost there. Now I'm just frequency fishing. Let's get back to finding parts. Tonal Swelling, I think, is going to be a good candidate for something that kind of matches this. what with the very first key I chose, this is what I'm saying here. So too easy. It's shouldn't be this easy. Cool, nothing there. Let's try something else. Let's try like a kind of a dark, fluffy underbelly of this whole thing would be cool. Can we find something tonal? A little bit. There, let's try it. And let's say we want that to fade in moderately slow. Shimmer reverb's been working out pretty well for a lot of these. Let's do just a little bit of pitch mix. 8. Cool. Cool. End. I'm stopping. 3 minutes and 55 seconds. 3 minutes and 55 seconds from not knowing where I was going to this. So, atmospheres and moods. There's a lot of stuff here, and it's all really good. Spoiler alert, kind of can't go wrong. Obviously, that was a proof of concept. You could do all kinds of mod wheel stuff, get LFOs going to panning, and maybe have like a slow warble pitch on that bass part, but you don't need it. I mean, man, and that's me with no concept in mind. If you have a concept in mind, you could find it even faster. We're really dealing with colors and imagery and just transporting your viewer to wherever you want to take them. And it happens so fast, and it happens at such a high quality, and it's just a joy to work with. So definitely pick this one up if these sounds are resonating with you or you think they'd be useful for your scores. It's definitely one of my favorites so far in terms of the Hybrid Cinema series. And yeah, I think that's all I have for you today. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. This is Chimy, signing out. Take care.